neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is basically the mechanism with which you completely recover or cure yourself from depersonalization. So first, let me give you an introduction about this, what this neuroplasticity is. Before like 2 or 3 decades ago, scientists believed that the formation of brain, your traits, your behavior, your thoughts are static. And most of the development happens during childhood only. Until recent, they discovered a thing known as neuroplasticity. It's like there's a thing inside your brain. There's a pattern of connections between neurons, and those things are known as neural pathways. So let's say there's a triangular shape of neural connections between three neurons. Supposedly, it gives rise to a certain type of behavior, a thought, or a habit. This is basically how our brain is mapped, using the connections between neurons, and altogether it forms a, like a universe inside in your brain itself of neural connections. So scientists thought that this is static, or it happens until you reach to a specific age. Until recent, they figured out no, it can actually remap itself. So when you, for example, you acquire a new habit or you learn a new skill, how does that essentially work in your brain? What happens inside your brain is the fact that these neurons, they create a kind of a pattern and they create connections between each other, and that's how you're able to form a habit, a trait, etc., right? So for example, if let's say somebody is, they say intrinsically somebody is an angry person, has anger issues, that's not true. Basically, it's an acquired habit. So for years and years, because of some stimuli, that person made those synaptic connections and created a pattern, a web of neural connections, which afterwards gave rise to his anger issues. Similarly, in comparison to depersonalization, the anxious thoughts you have, it's not something that has happened to your brain. It's just certain neural connections and a pattern has formed. But that's a very strong pattern, let me tell you. Because so neural connections, these synapses can be created by two ways. It either requires a positive feedback or a negative feedback. So let's, for example, when you go to gym and finally after a week or something you see changes in your body, you become healthy, that's a positive feedback. It gives you more motivation to go to the gym again. If you get that positive feedback later on, it becomes quite easy for you to go to gym, rather than if we compare it to the initial days. Why is that so? Because certain neural connections, certain patterns have been formed in your brain, and that's a positive feedback. Now the reverse of it can also happen, that is the negative feedback. Let's say you get scared of something, then the very next time you're more afraid of the thing, right? Suppose you are afraid of heights. It might have something to do with, you might have seen a movie, or you might have actually been afraid, or something has happened that has, formed these neural connections in your brain. Now the difference between these two, the positive feedback and the negative feedback, is the fact that the negative feedback is cyclic. So a negative feedback gives rise to another negative feedback cycle, and in turn it makes that neural synapses connection stronger and stronger. On the contrary, it doesn't happen with the positive feedback, because a positive feedback does not itself generate another cycle of positive feedback. You go to the gym, or you meet a girl, or you you crack an exam or something, it necessarily does not mean it will keep on going cyclic. It gets over soon after the event is finished, and that has its own utility, which I'm not going to go so deep in this video. But this should tell you that why depersonalization often, when you get a panic attack, or you keep thinking about it, or you believe your thoughts and be fearful about it, it only makes it worse, because it would make those neuron pathways more stronger. So what do you have to do? Break the habit. Essentially, if you break the habit, it's going to build new neural pathways which won't let you have that anxious thought later on. I'll be making another video on this topic, because I feel like this topic is very important for you to grasp the idea of the pathway for your recovery, and it's a very important topic to discuss. So keep on watching the videos and hit the subscribe button. Thank you.